would say a Anas no journalist in this country can speak more than Kweku I will speak, including the dossier what Aremeyaw Egua me Kweku Mfanye Juma. That little abubisa nipa fun to say asiampeni ono tewa wono Ghana mpeni for 24 mwapene omama kwama this little stupid idiot etnyenya access to the corridors of power no decide ma Ghana mpeni for so omunya mwa right from NDC time to MPP wasiafo omadwini nya adwuma mama this little foolish boy ofre bibila ne papa no oye den ne papa e mochirema ne maame so ye okonfo wasiampeni sa na mama no kwame nenya access to corridors of power then he can decide for Ghana mpeni for no be say Ghana mpeni for including Professor Mills in late Professor Mills who be say kwanya mama ye ma boy we nya access to corridor no decide ma Ghana mpeni for ne ensemonia Aremeyaw Anas ediwo Ghana so far ni na ekuru ewie no there Kwaku Ewiena wahi Kwaku Ewiena wahi fa sanyi ye mu bia meba enyi ye mu bia ye sori gina ye enye ma Ghana for etiti ne bente amanone ne Ghana ehu se no ade Aremeyaw oye no emfe nkosi hwe kire se eye oni ne papa Kwaku baako boni e hwe mu no mu di nipa boni o mu di ni na no eye o mu ye nti no mu di enye sikatam na nye Ghana ho se yebe kontokwa se yebe kontokwa e de etu kata se hye ne proye so a na Ghana fo nim se na de ye ka na ene kre ena ni na no obi kan o se me yemfa nto so ma ne nyawo ena o mawie wan what is Kweku ba ko ne what is Anas ne na ma me fa mo nkofie one of excuse my language and I pay Kweku but one of the most stupid foolish useless news reportage in the very beginning 3 months of a new administration, media, boa. May this had an ababeshe Ghana say, yen tino, and it's our news na motin and run. And one more mushes our news, Nichino. Hey, sooner rather later, moving home, and one cassa, our mushes our news, Nichino, mobeto monka enche. Na mi bufu nra na joa, mi ame ba na ma bre. Na me nim the air coachless until say be brief, you know, na me allies and me one of the first undercover agents for no drop a news in the moment. Now me tea and behind no. Let me who say, oh, that news was generated by Joy FM4. Hey, and there's one thing I've always told my friends. What Joy FM say, Moana de Biamobayo. I'm a yemu binimu yadi munim it trip from Sabasana Kwekumi Basana me bamos or me buffalo attacker or no reservation. So Tam kwasiadena muti krom ha moye no emuwode ni Jimmy reportage foolish media no amote amoye no mo na de bia mo be create problems e de amanipa kwasiasem kwa. Now guess what yemisa say so far police for emekanchre now you see eha ena ora tete yehonu. I'm about to talk to him say he should not allow such ridiculous repugnant stupidity ni o maybe say maybe fa nini so na omudi ababe
Koku kasa
ana pay me buefu papa me buefu ye just say the police should come and tell us say evidence na mo obtaining here about amache no mo obtaining is saying mo obtaining so no this picture no come and Omusi and Omunia, Muasifo, what kind of Nquasia Sambena to say, ye do woman now you see the media for no almost all my sources are known. Would they moving in the very coming days? I mean, why? I dear Sambeno, would the picture come Obi, ne no na be traces of say, when I heard the culprit, murder was the case, into one alcohol is any panel. It is only such a useless, stupid nation like Ghana. And more people go nyansa and on Bayesa. Na me mamu hint. I didn't know more and more. Any baby she chro, ni nani be iti. It's a heavy grand conspiracy. Wamu yemani nana kwaku politician be abubuano. And I don't want to give names now. A grand hatch conspiracy. Now, I'm actually to me the picture come up politician be. That's not a politician won't me money di. And we are politician on responsible for the murder of the Ahmed na said. Na da no dampare no tia kunya so no. Sa politician won't me ankwache no. Two, amache no ono ote won na da no na himfa na no ote a na muntimi nkwache no. Now listen. When we say a Anas no journalist in this country can speak more than Kweku I will speak, including the dossier Aremeyaw Anas. That little abuabisa nipa fun to say asiampeni ono tewa wono Ghana mpenifo edwedwentifo mwatene omama kwama this little stupid idiot etunianya access to the corridors of power no decide ma Ghana mpenifo so omunya mwa right from NDC time to MPP wasiafo omadwene nya adwuma mama this little foolish boy ofri bibila ne papa no oye den ne papa e mochirema ne maame so ye okonfo wasiampeni sa na mama no kwame nya access to corridors of power then he can decide for Ghana mpenifo no be say Ghana mpenifo including Professor Mills in late Professor Mills who be say kwanya mama e ma boy we nya access to corridor no decide ma Ghana mpenifo ne ensamonia Aremeyaw Anas ediwo Ghana ha so far ni na ekuru ewie no e den ha Kwaku ewie na wahi Kwaku ewie na wahi fa sanyi ye mu bia meba enyi ye mu bia ye sori gina ye ene ma Ghana fo etiti ne benche amanone ne Ghana ehu se no ade Aremeyaw oye no emfem kosi hwe kire se eye one ne papa Kwaku baako boni e hwe mu no mu di nipa boni omu di ni na no eye omu ye nti no omu di nye sikatam na nye Ghana ho se yebe kontokwa se yebe kontokwa e de etu katase hye ne proye so a na Ghana fo nim se na de ye ka na ene kre enani na no obi kan o se me yemfa nto so ma ne nya ho ene o mawie wan what is Kwaku baako ne what is Anas ne na ma me fa mo nkofie the same I say Amachi is the guy in charge of Anas Aremeyaw Anas secret cameras are fix it baby Anas be ko bia we ko twa video bia na me kan na Amachi ate abranti akwesi Amachi ono eno ya Anas senior camera guy ono fixing cameras in here including kwesi nya ntechimu videos e ko twa ina me wo videos so wa sa videos no Amachi we was captured in those videos the American Amachi we me wo videos ahodo a na mo say during the days of Net2 video bi enu a Anas video me yi ya na ni na ye edited unedited na mo bi say kwan be so na Kwaku me fa so me nya all this unedited videos unedited videos na me nya ya ni na boy me etum bi ye den the story about who Anas is. Does it mean sir Amachi no all this videos ni bre wa na yes e ku be ni nipa Jimmy say Kwaku I'm plenty way hello Kwaku me otchere nka but na me bisa say does it mean say Amachi no and all this videos run bre wa na me Kwaku amete me do nyame I dare anybody ma de ni pedia was asase so mumi so ora Kennedy Agyapong kra say Kennedy Agyapong kra na no ye me boss no mumi say Kennedy Agyapong or the one video bi kra brem say Kwaku gina yi a mumi sa no Ken wo US o me say mumi sa no say Ken what the one video say edema Kwaku Annan say gina yi e wo show no so during my days at Net2 na me host to the seed show mumi sa no not one there were videos many Kennedy na ye tra ho a ono ayi ye Emma me bie and that video no was time when Anas ekokoye the echo from me the former deputy finance minister Mokai no akwemo friend sempo former deputy finance minister refinity nidi beba onu ni video and I can the buy me na ye hwe bie me production team ye hwe na no po na can my portion bi na ngie and later osesa na adwene so onfemba because I saw the then chief of staff mami frame pare ekodi hu nkoma and that was end every video bia me ye e was a show ni na sa videos nya me Kwaku na me intercept here and here 1 2 Amachi way at that time Amachi was nowhere closer to whatever I am doing. Amachi didn't come anywhere close to what I was doing. It was later when the dust has settled and Anas I find saying Amachi way me be who Amachi and Amachi no so me started and me investigating Amachi and then a lot of me be brave I uncovered from Amachi no so any so no role player. Now men can tell say ebra make say Anas nkofo a ono omu ye dwa bebre omu nya dwane o me ne binmu kasa ebi wo efene say Thailand ebi so Saudi Arabia ebi wo omu na hwete Womo ba hwete Anas investigation bi okoye one top level investigation Anas koye e wo edwumakuo bi a wo me one of the IPPs the independent power producers Emma Ghana me more company anything Anas any Kweku ba konkoye was our company no na boni as our company no omedi no sa power producers no omedi etia Ghana no no mo koye sa investigation no mo kata so amma abonten na obi bi say Ghana because ya accuse top nipa bi ohinipon kese bi o Ghana and a top politician bi nso so o Ghana wo mo an allegation e wo say wo mo na ebe prevail on Kweku ba ko ne Anas e mo mu jai sa investigation no san someone ne bi sa de no man fa sa report na ma bonten so say ne me Kweku me ne me team yakwa ko pie sa investigation so ya start company na power producer company ye did questions akomom so mu ya no fiti last year basis atam wo mu ntimi fa answers ne mai nanso yenye den yenye yabamu ye yeguso ye sa investigations no wotra me cho no so at the end of the day no Amachi was threatened by Anas boys. There's one guy called Muda be threatened Amachi with gun. Namuni matata Anas atata e friend saying boy Amachi look nipa mpeso be kasa for now but wo de momuni nkwasiasem be buafu rough and I pense me Amachi akasa. I've spoken to Amachi called me or friend me kwana afina masoria me fa
our police sense ho
any yakasa was it
our police anasa our nifie
oh so mama the bail but an pay or circle police wordum it's here na ye wa twini mo ye kon yeah many Amachi akasa. Amachi has been threatened by Anas ankasa ne yere Anas yire e threaten Amachi we Anas boy back when friend Muda also threaten no eye nyeme bebre what you say eye nyeme pi ene ni na no aye friends Amachi bomb modern or dey asem ne koma tesa no police for so mo investigating emma no ana Amachi ne kra no asem no dey koma tesa no for later mbekenka emu nsem bi eye ne statement of claim e won Net2 those days emma sa asem no wo mu say eyi free Tesano police station no de call headquarters emma asem no headquarters wa say no so mo hwe no mo ka asem there bi man ka sa asem no afide between what time ye na ni betu ye nintio ye da sorry ya afide ono Amachi no obi threaten ono abe complain now tend to become a suspect of why Ahmed Suale ni we most for stupid people omo modama ncho me say but no me toma mo wo Ghana na wo de emfi ochene ko mbe hu dem de beto Ghana efi otene ko mesimbe hu dem de begu fom na obi ye bema wo mo dane asam include ono Anas no siasam ko we ye ka wan fa na no mo de sam wo bi ze efia poku a another stupid bitch who sorry wo efia poku a wo claim say we media and it's not sometimes na the likes of Kevin
Tabo na aha de antie o yesa na
siasam kwa
Kweku
no wo sorry what show the abeto wo efia poku what show the abeto was say hey dampare ko ya na sisi ayenya suspect who as a media girl what do you know lazy I can forgive those Kweku na say ni penia brio will not allow some unscrupulous stupid people wo mkuku gu blog no so Bonia ye social media and say ye fenye nyoma edemfa so beba bibini on te Ghana de on say we jimina ni nyoma nya ate say aboadwene de o se sa na obeye no na ma story na no anse kwa Cecilia YouTube and answer almost spread the call hey they sa na me ade none of those bloggers are burning even time to find out say some na down ne ne kre e te say na e say na Kweku de eyemeya. Just say you are hanging somebody and slaughter that person. Why? Mo yes I dey ora tete yon. I Kweku amejene. I can stick my neck out and my chest out openly. I am one person who, among all media personals in Ghana, stood strongly to ensure and to campaign for Yehunu to come. And nobody will try. They make it BB say, yeah, kofa some wrong news to be near the abete. Nyehunu enim ni ayete say nyehunu ba na anua no and why magic. What kind of nonsense and foolishness is this? I guess some fun we be say we wan fa
aye Kweku yemfansi ya na
asemo ma Kweku asemo mpeni ne kai ye keka na sa na ye keka na sa no I see nkamba ofie nti na obehu sa but e ba wo ha because Kweku I've been there before minimum how it is I know how it is. Ebini sansem na matete say former deputy minister bi first Mahamadu Bawumia na mo a otutu to ayampia ne sa ne omaniaman and sem basa nipa da se ni mpese e de nyansa be ye adwuma as far as bibini ye concern kwasiasem ne and ye be fewer stupidity and foolishness and mediocrity. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? Now, may train police for as long as what Tete Yawonu and they say, sure, yeah, IGP. No, he will not even try this. My mom was abortion. See, he will not try it. Because one more can grow no, Eddie be a politician be fee. I know, meaning game plan in yes.
Aha, o dia ma kuma mbra fom. Me brenaya be me mo akona nka ni die mu a me nua bia afia pokura de ne de nka o tweba fom kakra ma me a for the sake of because we say enye the topic in the discuss it na be fem tinka e hono de in the meantime no wo be ye hu bibia ma me a why mesra wo
no then am
as an pay wada than baby and one said the other from now honestly a janby
but then she is among the journalists. I swear God, so I not careful no being and one Kweku and maybe an your program is never me in Ghana. So one and I want to more. A dear Midbayan Ghana Midonia and you'll be free despite hold on because listen, I didn't know the other two Nehono. Oh, baby, say what information Ben Wire? Get the fuck up. What kind of information Ben investigation Ben Wire? Do you know how it takes to destroy personalities? No, the other two are who if you what there no. If the word now me demand stronger, I withdraw that word. But the point is, one of the most stupid journalists. I'm going to give them response from tomorrow going. Some phone be adults too much for media landscape.
Yo, me da say yes. Say yen central adwuma no age nsem wo ye ni future bia wo mo efie chiri bakra na me suma wo mo e de no mo besua na de no mo ba baye. Because ye di enim no esa na ye twa ma wom no enye sa ombetimi afa so abobra very dangerous, very 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 dangerous. Kweku afina ye yi asem nanim maminja wa no pay na ebrepem mesan anyway di hu nkomo so de be ya ne awo bia no ebeba abonte magana fo ate nti anope mamenda wase why thank you very much.
In the summer of 2022.
May 17th, 2022.
Yes. And you know, by law, no, there was a period by which Papa no Anka was or responding with what is known as an answer. But so Papa no one file a response and my case no call into default. Now after a period of default, you can actually go for judgment. Now, a case near Fale, we filed on 3 counts. But I couldn't say or say a chrome or a chrome 4. The second one was say or you would in terms of Onuna or behind the medal of Ahmed Suale.
Yeah.
Now, the third one so say a serial killer in terms of Chinese for Bibi Ghana. And then the fourth one is say or a criminal, the blanket word criminal. And then the fifth one by implication, or say, what behind Woody Sembiana, that means say, Abiana, you know, a trigger man, and I no will be second, and I say, perform the physical act that led to the foreseeable events, which is Obi a. So we also included a count that he is that he claims that my client, a co-conspirator in multiple serial killings. So that was basically the gravamen of our complaint. And when it went on undefended after the response time now, we began to make preparations to move for judgment. But being that I was in Ghana and we are all based in Ghana, we reached within our network and we partnered with 2 brilliant lawyers who I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate. Atta Wemega Esquire, he was the father figure of the team of lawyers, and a brilliant trial lawyer by the name of Andrew Dehere. These are all brilliant Ghanaian lawyers on this case. And at that point, we recruited them as counsel of record, and the case went. At that point, Kennedy's lawyers came in, obviously because near Beji judgment for the full $30 million. And so he had counsel, and counsel came and also did his thing. Reopen default. They argued that they had a solid defense, and I think right around then, and I almost judgments from Ghana no almost release here. And I don't know mujina so say almost defense to case I follow New Jersey.
We need Ghana. So case no
exactly.
It's only no by almost case. Okay.
So as defense against, but the interesting thing is that defamation sits here no. Say kind of my the work for court. It's a separate case.
Yeah.
It's not to mean to Ghana and from the defending way. You still have to prove the truth of it. And this time, in this jurisdiction, the law is the same essentially because but you sound so free other countries. There are certain times that even though of presidential value, I just said, judge into me so India, but to me the two na senior especially in cases maybe you decided that type of a case. And Emrano is the same as Ghana. Procedurally, there are certain nuances, sometimes in terms of certain dates, you have to do certain things by. And also in New Jersey, Emra here drafted complaints. We were fully aware that we were required to prove what we were claiming by a higher standard than in Ghana.
Yeah.
Yes, in this case, and not even that. In this case, we were required to prove our case not by the normal civil standard, but by a clear and convincing evidence standard.
Okay.
And they responded with that, and they were able to successfully reopen the default, which paved way for them to file an answer. And they filed an answer which essentially claimed that there was some sort of back and forth between him and Anas. And, we took it for what it's worth and we forged on. And we finally got our trial date sometime earlier this year and it was postponed. And then we finally went to trial last Monday. We started trial on Monday. And we put up our case. My client testified. He testified. He brought other witnesses, and after listening to both sides, senior answer na ever try case the difference between what happened with Ghana and see Johannes say trial by jury. It's judge or judge Kwaku Annan say judge me no say judge me and send Bediatuo. But normal people on the streets of New Jersey, tax-paying citizens, and in this case, we started off with veneer. That's the technical word for when the prospective jurors are brought in. We're from a veneer. The veneer of 60 citizens, tax-paying citizens of the state of New Jersey, specifically Newark, New Jersey, and its surroundings, were brought in, and after what is known as Boadaya, which is the process by which they are questioned to see if they have any sort of bias or anything that would stand
for Ghana for no you vetiomo say bia
vetiomo just say obi nim asem hu bia na so onimu bia asem we fan ho ana say obi wo hwa bia nyame bi osom no so we went through all of that. That was day one. That took from area to the end of the day. And so on Tuesday, we came to court and we had our opening statements. They had their opening statements. And then we proceeded to put on our evidence. And at the close of the evidence, the jury was instructed, judge, in this case, judge, ometro emrano. Na omodiama, jury, no ometro mu, omeking kanachro first. So amo paper omodibeko inside. Akwako decide the different deliberations. Me nim dey say no can chimu, but me so say me kasi. Almost pensing, okay. Okay. And there are some more about Thursday about 4:30. There are the church from running now, and there are some more 4:30. Into now, I say we be an 4:30. No, caught a punk right around that time, which is I believe consistent with the practice in I know it's consistent with the practice in Ghana. No cry. I just so you could be at Nana. You take a deep breath and reflect on what has transpired during the past 4 days. And about 20 minutes later, we got word that the jury. So as part of the defense, I think it's only fair that a charges counts now the buy and the civil claims now the buy.
The defense.
His defense was also although Oka said it was some sort of just based banter between him and Uniano. He came to court and asserted truth as his defense. And so
time I court say sa counting na mode bono no say one Anas back and forth, right? The only claim or make it or say banter I just say we can't wait internet and share or no they not all can say obi to be more almost tomorrow.
But all you do court media that was not
and yes I know what kind ura court no G2
yeah be or maintaining the position say no can or that standing by no kind.
Okay.
Basically remember just or practice no crane di no onye boni bia.
Okay.
So to support that or the movie you try in Net2 who watches a watchman. But the announced by as on only defense and so the jury had the opportunity to evaluate that and factored that in the analysis, and obviously it was not the weight that they wanted the jury to accord to it. So jury never bugui. About 20 minutes later, the jury came back with a verdict, and there were the multiplicity of very quick. And there was a multiplicity of questions that were posed to the jury. That's the way how they arrived at the decision. It's and also unanimous. People who were picked off the streets of not picked off the streets of New Jersey, but they're from based on address, voter registration data. And but within 20 minutes, they saw through everything and said no. So they came back and there was not even one juror that sided with Yapapana Samuakam.
All against
8-0 on every count and on every question that was posed to the jury, including damages now about no Biedun Komono. And also Krano, there was a unanimous decision. I just say it was a solid decision of the jury. 20 minutes on say there was no doubt in our presentation to what you kind of lay people. These are not experts in the law.
Yeah, they are just
these are lay people
who just sat and used their common sense to come to a conclusion.
No. I will not say use their common sense.
They listen to you and they listen to the other part. It makes sense though.
And then the law is the law. No judge in this world has any power to bend the law. That sort of conduct is what causes strife and war in places.
Yeah.
America had the judge actually before the judge ever kind jury instruction, but catch jurors and say, oh no, only to be a and that's how it went. But what's interesting about Nisi and or a lawyer contrary, even though people don't give him credit for that.
At least Bonidina Anas working.
But Anas, Anas. And also a very astute lawyer, and some people will cry on Jim Tumu, but sometimes a team of legal team to we come to a compromise. Now, he has been adamant about clearing his name because I have a personal experience of understanding. It's one of the worst things that can happen to someone.
Yeah.
And he absolutely took the position there. He wanted a trial. He's not interested in any settlement. He's not here for the money. He's here to clear his good name that he has built over time. And in his profession, at this time, Anka also started doing anything. So he always maintained that he wanted a trial to the point where sometimes there was a disagreement in the legal team. Now, procedurally, America, the peace. said that schedule say, and from this time to this time, no, can you support staff that work out no, we are dedicating it to your case. It's no small matter.
I know. I've been there. It's not easy.
Before they will go to trial, no, there's mandatory settlement conference. I bet say at this maybe by this time no will be say grow no or commit to the right census and decide say this shouldn't go on because yes. And I acquire no unfortunately me and Anas disagreed with me, but I prepared a settlement memorandum that sought to settle this case for $18 million, just like the jury came back.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.